Hello everybody, I'm Christo and welcome to a quick ARR of a campaign I have just done. That's an after action report. I'm uploading this video to tell you, mostly, that the Ottoman campaign has not gone anywhere. It's just that I was playing something else in vanilla EU4, and so this campaign took me like 3 weeks or so, real time, and I mean not literally constantly, but about 3 weeks. And I wanted to show you it since it's the reason you weren't getting any Ottoman mayo and taxes content. So we started as Castile, and let's see where the game took us, shall we? We'll go on medium speed. So to begin with, it was fairly standard. I went to war with England first, I believe, and pretty quickly yoinked. Okay, actually, I yoinked Granada first, but as you can see, I've taken this province off England. We got a personal union over Aragon and Portugal, pretty much right out of the gate. I think I did a quick war down here against Morocco. There's our second war against England. We yoinked a bunch more of their lands and started moving into Italy as well. There you go, we're taking more and more in Italy. At this point, I started massively developing the Naples region because we were going to switch to Neapolitan culture. There's another war against England. We got the Burgundian inheritance, which is pretty sweet. And we're just pressing on, doing a little bit of conquering around here. We also have a subject over here in Byzantium, which is why Byzantium is crushing the Ottoman, and we're taking all of this Maghreb coastline so they stop raiding us. We can get that sweet, sweet prosperity. Sadly, Flanders got independence, so we didn't get them, but yeah. We then took this land here, because I'm beelining over to India. So we yoinked a little passageway for ourselves down here, and you will notice that I also have taken some land down here. England colonized it. I swiftly took it off them. We never took any colonial ideas or did any colonizing of ourselves in this campaign. At about this point, we got a personal union over France, which was pretty sweet. We're allied to Poland and Muscovy. We also, at about 1550, we got a personal union over Austria. That was pretty sweet too, I have to admit. And later in the game, we get a personal union over Poland. I can't remember exactly when. As you can see, we're kind of beelining our way to India. We want to get that sweet, sweet trade ducats. We formed Italy. That's why we took all that Neapolitan land and developed it so much. I managed to form Italy without unstating any of my land in Spain. Normally, you have to unstate land to make the relative development higher. I just really powerfully devved up southern Italy so that we didn't actually have to do that. England is an island is a lake apart from London, which has now fallen. And as you can see, we're expanding nicely, just yoinking up some of this land here, and basically going for the coastline, creating some truly wonderful borders. Syria, as you can imagine, is a subject of ours. Darn. I thought I didn't have any subjects in the whole game without a capital in Europe. Syria is, I believe, the one exception to that. I think they're the only subject in the entire game that had a capital outside of Europe. Britain, as you can see, is now pretty much entirely under our control. The Scottish island will fall later. Frisia did start colonizing, but we were having none of that. So as you can see, we're yoinking that off them. And we took this land off Friesland as well. Friesland will go on to colonize some more land over here. At this point, our conquests have thoroughly reached India. Afghanistan, it's another non-European subject, actually. We did have a subject in Afghanistan. But from this point onwards, I don't think we actually create any new subjects. I decided I wanted to conquer Asia and Africa just, the old school way. At this point, conquest was speeding up. It's at about this point that coalitions ceased to be an issue. I was slowed down in my formation in Italy by coalitions. Obviously, taking out huge quantities of land in Italy causes problems with coalitions. About here, money becomes effectively infinite because you can siphon such a colossal amount out of India. And you can see we're doing these kind of tendrily wars. And if you're an avid player of the game, you'll know why we took these specific provinces. In the first war against Vijayanagar, those are the centers of trade. We continue to head east. We got as I mentioned, the personal union over Poland roughly around this time, and we took lots of this land off. Who took this here? I think not Portugal. I think Frisia Friesland rather, also colonized lots of this area, wrapping up sub-Saharan Africa there, Congo getting yoinked as we make our way to China. China gets yoinked at a pretty disgusting speed, I must say. The fact that it was broken down into like 4 or 5 different little nations made it really easy. As you can see, my noodly appendage heading towards our new holdings over here. Europe at this point obviously vanishing. I annexed all my subjects. France costs a measly 1,000 diplomacy points to annex once I stacked up all of the modifiers. We of course had the court and country event fire long before this, so we had like 120 absolutism for the whole game, even though I had 6 privileges granted, I believe. At this point, it was kind of just wrap up. I got a little nervous because I realized that Scandinavia was going to take like 4 wars to wrap up, which was a little awkward. So we truce broke against Scandinavia 3 times and Lithuania twice, just so that we can, there you go, yoinked all of their trade centers. I moved my capital to Zara, which allowed me to put Western Europe, which is like all of this, into a trade company. So we did have trade companies. I had 54 merchants with no colonial nations at the end of the game, which was pretty sweet. And at this point, it's just cleanup duty. As you can see, Lithuania, Scandinavia vanishing in truce break after truce break. Let me slow it down here as we come towards the end. Lithuania was the final independent tag in the old world to fall to the might of Italy, at which point I turned my attention to the new world. From this point on, we would not be coring any land, so I prepared many, many armies and laid them around the new world, ready for this to happen. Yoink, 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 yoink. And at this point, we have taken the entire world. There are no independent tags. We have no subjects. There are no colonial nations. I am the only tag in the entire world. There are still some names showing here. That's just a bug of how the timeline displays it. And this is a true 1 tag achieved in not record time. I wasn't going for record time or anything, but it was 1806 July. Sorry, 1809 July. I was making 22,000 ducats a month from trade. I had 986% overextension. I had like 5 or 6 million rebels active in the like 6 months it took me to annex all of this area, and there was like another million raising every month, but this was the end of the campaign. All was good. Then this happened. I set the game on speed 5 and just let it go, and at which point, you know, all these nations form and some of them annex each other, and then that's the end. Interestingly, we kept, because of the nationalism had ticked down, we kept huge quantities of land. Mostly the areas that we annexed from subjects and things. We still had 9,500 development even after I let the whole country just shatter into a million beautiful little pieces. But yeah, it was a pretty good campaign. It was a good campaign. I decided to let it shatter just so I could get to the end screen. I like seeing the end screen. Obviously, we had the largest navy. We had the 3rd highest trade income at the end, which is kind of amusing. Our army, I'm not sure why we only had 1,300 divisions, or whatever they're called, regiments at the end of the game. We had like 4 million earlier on. But yeah, when the country broke, you know, I just zoomed out and turned off all the pop-ups and went on speed 5, so we weren't worrying about that. Looking at some statistics, we had a glorious 60-year ruler. He was like a 5/5 something. It was amazing. We had 460 wars, which we won all of them, and we had no wars that we lost in the whole game. I was not declared war on once. No, I was actually. I had 1 coalition war declared against me at one point, which obviously we won. And that was the only war declared against me in the entire game. That was declared in about 1550, which is the kind of hot spot for coalitions in World Conquests. Each year, about negative 1,480 enemy combatants fell to our fire and steel. This strikes me as somewhat unlikely, so I imagine this is an overflow error because it was too high. We lost about 3,000 men a year. That sounds low again. I'm not sure if that's wrong. If that's right, we lost 2 ships a year, killed 1. We full annexed 195 nations. We annexed 2,653 provinces, and I built a courthouse in every single mother freaking one of them. We had 460 military leaders. We have a 6563 at one point. He was pretty sweet. Can I open the ledger? I don't think I can. So you know what I'm going to do? I'm going to reload the backup save so that I can load the ledger and I can show you some stats in the ledger. I will pause the recording. I will be right back. Okay, I reloaded the backup save, which, if you're not aware, is like 3 months before the main save. And so here I can show you the ledger. So in terms of income, we're not doing very well. We're making like negative vast quantities of money, and I've gone bankrupt like 5 times. And we're actually making money now. Okay, we have some armies kind of scattered around the globe. Still quite a few of them. If I turn armies back on here, yeah, there's a few, just kind of randomly smattered around the world. As you can see who I conquered last, because here's the armies still in position to do that. You can see the religions map mode. We had some fairly cursed situations. Orthodoxy does survive in the Orthodox Kazan, but Muscovy is devout Catholic, of course. The little pockets of non-Catholic in Europe were because of the trade companies, of course, which I didn't bother, untrade companying and then converting and stuff like that. But let's look at some statistics. Previous rulers, we had some pretty sweet rulers, I have to say. In terms of administrative skill, we very briefly had a couple of ones. The final one, who was obviously, we broke to revolutionary rebels, so we became a republic right at the end. And obviously, Yuan, the second rather, we had right at the beginning. He only reigned for 4 years, which was pretty merciful of him. Apart from that, we had 2 5s, 2 6s, a bunch of 5s, a bunch of 4s in admin. As you can see, we were ruled by de Trasdamara for a mere 1, 2, 3, 4 generations. Then we were Habsburg for a while, which is how we got the PU over Austria. And we were briefly de Conti at the end, it seems. That must have been the elected people. Oh no, that was actually us. And we were Rudonovic. Rurikovic, I'm not sure, for a little while at the end. We never got a PU over Muscovy, which is a shame. We ended up having to conquer them. I wanted to get a PU over them because then we'd have got a PU over France and Aragon and Poland and Austria and Bohemia, and Burgundy and Muscovy, which would have been, and Poland, Portugal, which would have been pretty sweet. But oh well. What else? What other screens do I need to show you? There's some like how many people died, isn't there? Yeah, score over time must look kind of funny. Like if we include everyone else, yeah, just no score for anyone and us. That's how that screen usually looks. Innovativeness, we actually did pretty well. We were at, what was that, 56 innovativeness. I don't know why Magdeburg's at 71. They didn't exist very recently. Catholic, we didn't one faith. I wasn't trying to, but we got, 3/4 of the way there, which was pretty good. There is definitely, it's pretty good, number of provinces, and literally no provinces for anyone else. And then when we break, everyone else gets little few provinces. We didn't colonize anywhere. We had some sweet advisors, some sweet military rulers. Show me the, here we go, army losses. So in total, we lost 19.7 million. Actually more in battle than by attrition. Usually in a world conquest you use a lot more in attrition, but because I was over 100% overextension for about the last 60 years, I was hovering between 100 and 200, because over 200, I believe, I haven't checked the code yet, which I need to do. Over 200 you start getting extra special nasty events, which just spawn like 250,000 rebel stacks immediately, as opposed to just giving you separatist sentiment, which is not so bad. Yeah, we lost, it says Iceland lost 2 million. That's because Scandinavia, once I conquered all of this land, formed Iceland, because I forgot to take Iceland off them. But yeah, we lost 19 million men. That's quite a lot. So yeah, the reason why being overextension means you lose a lot more in battle is because almost all of our casualties were lost versus rebels. Almost all of them were deaths to rebels. Probably, I would estimate probably 80% of all our army, all our battle casualties were versus the vast numbers of rebels that we killed during it. I don't pay attention to the Navy, so we lost 600 ships, 323 of them transports. That's mostly when I just have an army in here and I say like, here, army, go here. And the enemy intercepts like 60 of my transports. And I'm just like, I don't care. I have 1 million ducats and it's capped and I have 5 million manpower. Just none of this matters really. Is there anything else interesting in here that I could show you? Yeah, income over time is quite funny too. There you go. So we can show what the actual income that we got right at the end. It was fairly steady growth over the last little while. We got to 27,000 ducats. Sorry, 270,000 ducats. That's even better. Is that yearly? That must be yearly. We would definitely weren't getting 270,000 a month. It's pretty cool. When I hit this button earlier in the game, it was giving the Pope 200,000 ducats. That was fun. But yeah, income obviously went slightly downhill when we just let the whole world implode. We did have a huge Franconia, which was interesting. I've never seen that before. Inflation went up when we went bankrupt like 5 times. We had, lots of non-core provinces, obviously. Anything else? I don't think there's much else to show on here. We still have a bunch of the strategic goods, even though we've let the world implode, which is kind of funny. I think that's it. Yeah. Cool. That is my beautiful rainbow world. Look at our weird empire. What we still hold. Let me show you the empire not quite at its peak, but I did take a save earlier because I've done this before like 3 times, but previously when I finished piecing out the final person, the game would crash and I could never actually get the one tag. I was able to this time, which makes me very happy. But so because I know that it crashed, I made a backup save. Because I wanted to be able to make I meant to use this campaign basically to finally give a good bug report to Paradox about the fact that when you go true one tag it crashes, but it didn't crash, so maybe they fixed something. So I'm just going to pause again and go get that backup save so I can show you the Empire, not quite at the height of its glory, but at a certain degree. And we're back. So here's that backup save I took before I started piecing everyone out in the New World. As you can see, we're at war with, yes, the New World, all of them. How many wars is this? Like 12 wars or so. It was all it took to conquer the entire New World. Unfortunately, these guys and these guys and these guys were all over 100% war score, even with all of the beautiful, beautiful war score reductions that I had. I was not revolutionary. That was all that was the only thing I was missing. I accidentally called these guys in as non-co-belligerent, which is why they cost more than 100%. These guys just have 148% of provinces, so what are you going to do? I had flexible negotiations, Catholic mysticism, which is the good outcome of the Council of Trent, by the way. The hair never freaking takes because it's so annoying. And we had 60% admin efficiency, which is the cap when you're not the Mughals, I believe. So we tried, but what I did was piece these guys out and then immediately truce break them, piece these guys out, immediately truce break them, piece these guys out and immediately truce break them. So I had to buy back, and Inca as well, I had to piece them out and then immediately truce break them. So we had to buy 12 stability, which was very expensive because we were massively overextended. But this is what the stable empire looks like before we actually do our nonsense in the New World. Because of course we could have taken the New World peacefully, easily. Like even if we started now, like in 1806, we could very easily have pieced these guys out 200 overextension at a time, and it would have been trivial to core it all. We're coring, insanely fast with a 60% admin efficiency and a 55% additive reduction on coring cost, and then a 110% multiplicative, only I believe 90% of which actually applies because of the caps. But because we have the beautiful Italian ideas, giving minus 25%, plus obviously we've taken administrative ideas, plus we have a nice amount of innovativeness, giving us an extra 5.1% on top of that. Coring is no problem. So we could have cored all this and got a bunch of colonial nations, but that's not what the idea was. But I just wanted to show you the stable old world empire that I created. And of course, Australia, Oceania, all this. We own all of this land directly, and we have no cores in these regions because we didn't need them, because like this, we're at 0 overextension, which is beautiful. We had a whole bunch of territories. We're at cap. Money can't go higher than 1 million in this game. And when we go into the economy tab, the FPS drops to literally 3, which is kind of funny because it just can't handle how much money I'm making. The trade overflows into the gold section. We're making 25,000 ducats a month. Pretty good, you must admit. We're wildly over the force limit at this point, I believe. No, we're actually not. Why am I not over the force limit? I swear I went badly over the force limit. I guess our force limit just increased a lot at the end and I didn't really notice. We were previously about 2 million men over the force limit, but right now we have 6.5 million men under arms, and we're under the force limit. That's pretty nice. We're under 100% professionalism. Unacceptable. There we go. Back up to 100. Trade-wise, we're making 16,000 ducats in trade. The trade window is kind of comical. We're doing the thing you do when you're good at trade, which is you send it on weird merry-go-rounds. So the money goes, it comes in. Oh, what the heck? We could make so much more money. Send it this way. Let's see how much difference this makes. 16.6. Bloody hell. Okay, so here we go. Income slightly better now. 31,000 ducats. That's the power of knowing how trade works, man. I hadn't looked at it for years because, I mean, we're at capped money. It makes no difference. The money is just going to waste right now. But what you do to make money in trade is you send it on the longest possible route. So it's going around here, around here, around here, around here, around here, around here to here. And to get to here, it's of course coming in, you know, in here, down here, up here, across here. We're trying to make it take the most circuitous route possible. So in India, for example, the money goes from here to here to here to here to here to here, because every time you transfer it, you boost the outgoing value. We're boosting it by 10% each time. And obviously, you know how compound interests work. You've been paying attention to Game Stonk recently. You know how maths works. You start with 1,000 here, you add 10% a bunch of times. Suddenly we have 23,000 in Genoa, which is pretty cool. It's so funny that we had it so much lower than it could have been. This money actually should potentially be being sent north. No. So you just want to make the maximum number of steps. So this money, for example, is currently making 1, 2, 3, 4 steps to get here. We could instead send it north, but it only goes 1, 2. Obviously much worse. So you want to send it this way and cycle it around. Obviously, to make this work, you have to control almost the whole of the node. But yeah, we have plus 250% goods produced. Because we have every single coal furnace it's possible to have, I think. Oh, no, actually, we're missing 2 coal furnaces. So we could have 3. So we could be making more money by deleting the manufactories that are in these provinces and replacing them with coal furnaces. We could make an extra 10% goods produced would probably come to... It would be, I think that would be substantially more than a 10% increase in our income, because it's 10% good produced, but then it gets all the multipliers from trade. So I'm not sure what that would actually be in terms of increase of our income, but it would be probably high. Yeah, we had 100 mercantilism since 1530 or something. It took me about 90 years to get mercantilism to 100. I didn't buy any. We just used lots and lots of estate privileges. We own effectively 100% of the crown land, 99.998. We've owned 100% at various points. What else can I show you on here? We accepted lots of cultures. Let's accept some more, sure. Reforms. Took some reforms. I took lots of reforms giving me extra absolutism, just so we had a buffer. We sat at around 115 for a lot of the game. I wanted to be able to have the clergy land rights so that we could have lots of governing capacity. At 4,300 at the end of the game. I built an ungodly number of town halls, like truly an ungodly number of them. I had to delete a building in basically all of these provinces in order to fit a town hall in. And then I also built an ungodly number of state houses. Any state that is not yellow means that there is a town hall in that state. It's just, I mean, goodness gracious, it's ungodly. It took so freaking long. Yeah, 57 merchants, pretty good. Religion map mode, you know, looking fairly Catholic. I prioritized the high dev provinces to convert first. Sadly, you know, we're a pretty low tier defender of the faith. We did kill everyone else in our religious group. So, I mean, yeah, can't really blame them on that one. What else should I show you? I think that's pretty much it. You know, we were well ahead of time on technology for the entire game. We did basically the whole a whole tree except developing the south, because these don't give you anything useful, and we didn't get among the great powers because I was never allies with anyone after like 1580 or so. We built all the canals as you do. We had some nice policies. You know, we have literally no rebels in the entire country at this stable point, which is a little bit of a far shot from what is to come. The revolution spawned in Malacca, and I immediately crushed Pasai, which was the nation that held all this land, and killed the revolution, so that kind of died. We have the beautiful Italy flag. Yeah, that was the game. It was a great game. We have lots and lots of subjects, but they're all trade companies. There you go. My glorious game as Italy. Thank you for watching. I hope you enjoyed this quick after-action report. Your regularly scheduled Ottoman Mayo and Taxes programming will resume. Thanks for watching. I'll see you next time. Bye-bye.